Hello everyone, today I'm going to share with you guys an unexpected event of my life that will definitely shock you for once. Meet me. This is David Liam. I'm a 40 years old man. I'm a chairman of well-established multiple companies in town. I had never thought that my wealthy status would be a curse for me. Let's move towards the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting and engrossing real couple stories. I got married at the age of 38 to a young and beautiful girl named Hannah. Hannah used to work as a receptionist at one of my own company. She was really attractive, like she used to entertain me a lot, so soon I decided to get married to her. It's a fact that young ladies really attract mature men. I was really so in love with Hannah. But later I realized that she was actually planning something worse for me. It was the first week of our marriage. I've been inactive at my companies since I got married. So I decided to visit my companies. I even asked my wife to go with me, but she said that she was feeling dull. I really wanted to give her a surprise by reaching home very early. I even took some favorite snacks along with me to the house for her. I remember when I reached home, my wife was wearing a revealing dress and was facing the camera. It seemed like if she was on the video call, she was even showing off her body to someone. As soon as she found me behind her, she began to settle herself and put down her phone. I really did not ask from her to whom she was talking on call. But she herself began to give me an explanation that one of her sisters was missing her. To be honest, she did not even discuss her sisters or any family member before, while I did not consider the matter and presented her the snacks I bought for her. My wife's reaction was kind of disappointing, like she did not like the snacks I bought for her. She even said to me in a joking version, "Look, the company owner bought a few cheap snacks." After saying such hard-touching words, my wife manipulated that she was just cracking a joke. To be honest, this was the first time when I realized her being so status-conscious and materialistic. She was really a stubborn lady. I remember she even did not pick up the snacks from the table that I bought for her. I really got downhearted, and I realized that my wife actually liked expensive and fancy gifts. I really wanted to fix her mood. So I asked her to go with me at the mall and purchase whatever she wanted to buy. I remember she seemed really excited and began to sugarcoat me. Well, I took her to the mall where she did purchasing as if it was her last day out of her shopping. One night when I was sleeping, my phone began to ring. When my eyes got open because of the ringing volume, I found my wife nowhere in the bed. Well, I picked it was a business call. I moved out of my room in order to see my wife. I was shocked to see my wife in the storeroom at the stack hour of night. I remember she was talking to someone on call. But when I appeared in front of her, she did something really strange, like she cuddled me hard and told me that it was a call from one of her poor friends who was asking her to appoint her needy husband as a cook in our house. I remember my wife is continuously praising the cooking skills of her friend's husband named John. I even asked my wife that a show settle her friend's husband to get a good occupation somewhere in my company. But my wife is continuously insisting on me to appoint him as a cook in our house. She further said that she really likes his recipes that actually remind her mother, as according to my wife, her friend's husband belonged to the village of her mother. Well, after great insistence of my wife, I allowed him to work with other cooks. I even asked my wife that I also wanted to provide employment to her friend too. But my wife cunningly began to tell me that her friend is pregnant at the moment and couldn't do any job in such a state. I remember the next day it was about 10 p.m. in the morning when a young and handsome man entered our house. My wife introduced him to me and began to guide him to his work. As usual, I was occupied in my work. As soon as I got free, I called my wife to have an update about her. But I remember that she was not picking up my call. I even called her many times. After about 5 hours, she called me back and said that she was sleeping. This was something creepy, as she just had updated a picture on her Facebook account. 2 hours back. My wife must not have any idea that I actually used to stalk her from my fake account to know her updates. I thought it might be a technical problem from Facebook. I just ignored the matter. I remember one day when I reached home, I was shocked to see my wife laughing with John. They were shocked to see me in front of them and begin to say that they were preparing something special for me. There was no one in the kitchen except them when I called other servants to help them in the kitchen. My servant said that my wife and John were not allowing them to enter the kitchen. It was beyond my understanding why they were doing this. Even they did not make something special to eat. I really ignored the matter. Next night when I was in the bedroom, I remember my wife was continuously asking me to drink wine. That day, I really refused her, but she was forcing me to drink. I really did not know why she was doing like this. My vision was blurring, but I remembered that she was holding a pen and paper. I was fully drunk that time and immersed in sleep. I really did not know what happened that night. I just remembered the next morning, my wife was doing something in my cupboard which used to be locked normally. And I always keep the keys with me. When she found me awake, she began to say good morning. I remember I was feeling really lazy, dull and even dizzy. My wife's activities were getting strange day by day. Like one day when I came home early, I found my wife along with John. Like they both were sitting in the bed and having a conversation. It was something really awkward that they both were having, even holding their hands when they found me in front of them. My wife was literally fish out of water. When I asked her rudely why an ordinary cook was in our bedroom, my wife as usual created a drama and said that his poor wife is going to deliver a baby very soon. So he wanted to have some money while I gave him some money and asked him about the hospital and other things. But he did not give me an example. Dancer. I even asked him to take his wife to our house. But he always used to say that his wife's dignity would be hurt. After seeing him cook. To be honest, from the very first day, I found something mysterious in John. Like I used to think that he pretended to be someone which he is not. Actually, I found him a really dark horse. One day I saw something that will definitely shock you. I remember I went out of station for an urgent meeting, but my flight was cancelled due to the weather. When I reached the house, it was about 3 a.m. at night. My wife was really unaware of my arrival at the house. When I entered the house, all lights were off. I stepped towards my room's door, but it was locked. Firstly, I began to knock on the door. But later I thought that maybe my wife locked the door and she was feeling insecure in the house. I thought that I must not disturb her sleep. So I took a duplicate key in order to unlock the door. When I opened the door, I found my wife all naked along with our newly appointed cook, John. They were cuddling and was fully covered with blanket. When I began to yell and scream high on them, they were highly afraid and began to clarify me. But I immediately held their hands and asked guards to get them out of my house. I remember my wife was continuously crying and begging me. She further said that Cook was actually harassing her. She tremendously apologized to me and promised me that she would never repeat such an act. I decided to give her a chance. What my wife did to me was continuously popping up in my mind and was on my nerves. I decided to go into the depth of the matter. I asked one of my office boys to investigate John. I even gave him some related information about John. One day when I reached the house, I heard something shocking and thought-provoking. I remember when I entered the house, one of my old maids was trying to say something to me. She was continuously following me. When I was searching for my wife in the house, she seemed really confused when I asked her what she wanted to say. She said that she had no right to indulge in my life. But as a sincere and old maid, she found it as her duty to tell me about my wife. She said, "Apologies, sir, but your wife is cheating on you." After hearing her words, I was all shocked and did not respond to her. Meanwhile, my wife reached and seemed really afraid. After seeing me with the old lady, I remember the mate's concern was continuously popping up in my mind. I decided to ask her everything in detail. The next day, the very next thing, something really strange happened. When I reached the house, I found my old maid nowhere in the house. When I asked my wife about her, she told me that the old maid was actually a disloyal person who had stolen some cash and jewelry and now run away from the house. I was really shocked because I have known that old women since my childhood. I realized that there is something really wrong with my wife for about 1 week. My office boy gave me all the details of John. I was shocked to know that John used to be the long-term boyfriend of my wife. Both of them belonged to very poor families and her cousins in relation. I further came to know that John was unmarried and currently working as a waiter in a restaurant. My feet froze and I discussed this matter with my sincere friend. We both came to the conclusion that she married me for a purpose. I was really disappointed with her and decided to divorce her. When I reached the house, I was shocked to hear her conversation secretly with someone where she was planning to trap me in her love fully, in order to gain all my property. She was also saying to the person in call that she loves him and doing all this for him. She was literally crying and said that she was missing him so much and we did not matter to her. Only that person meant the whole universe for her. After hearing her words, I decided to give her a life lesson instead of directly giving the divorce. I actually came to know about her weakness. That was actually that person to whom she was in crazy love. And that was obviously John. I remember when I entered the bedroom, my wife was wearing a seductive dress. Ian was continuously forcing me to take the wine. I realized that there is something that must be in the wine. She was holding the glass full of wine and was continuously asking me to drink. But I turned the game and asked her to drink it. My wife's expression made me crystal clear that she actually used to add something in the wine every time, because when I forcefully inserted the same glass full of wine in her mouth, she spilled the wine and knocked her towards the washroom. I literally started enjoying her lies and cheating. I even fixed a camera in our bedroom to know more about her. I was literally amazed after hearing the camera recording of my bedroom one day where my wife was planning with her boyfriend to declare herself pregnant in front of me so that she may gain my care and attention. According to her, this would be a useful step in gaining my property. Well, she lied to me at the same night that she's pregnant. I gave her a happy and thrilling response once she was literally weeping badly. When I asked her what happened to her, she said that she wanted to have the security of a baby. I remember she was holding some papers as well. I said to her, "Don't worry, honey. Although everything belongs to you and our baby reach my office tomorrow at 11 a.m. I remember she was extremely excited and happy. She was continuously calling her boyfriend secretly, but I guess he was not answering her as she seemed really upset. The next morning when it was about 11 a.m., my wife reached to my office. She was wearing a very fancy dress. She seemed really excited, but then something really unexpected happened to her when she entered my office room. She was shocked to see her boyfriend, John, working as my secretary. I remember John was not even making eye contact with her. I asked John to leave me alone with her. I began to laugh loudly at my wife and said to her that John shouldn't be a cook nor a boyfriend of my own wife, but someone to whom I am offering double salary and other facilities. I further said to my wife, "John was not sure that you would give him my property or not. So he decided to collaborate with me." My wife was literally sweating and then bent her knee on the floor. She burst into tears and was screaming, "John, please don't do this to me. I did everything for you." I said her, "I suffered the same pain when you cheated on me." I divorced at the moment and kicked her out of my office. Greedy lady. What would you do if you were in